Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Today we're going to keep going with our testing strategies. So we're going to go and we're going to talk about the article we did the other day. We're not going to read it through this time, so our video will be a lot shorter. But if you do need to kind of get a refresher on what the article is about, I'll make sure to link that in our Google Classroom. But you can always go back to yesterday's video and watch it again. So before we get into that, I think it'd be fun to kind of add a little tidbit in. So today I wanted to start doing a whole beginning talking about holidays. Now, you guys might be thinking of, Christmas, Easter, Halloween, yada yada, but there's actually a holiday for every day. And so today's holiday is actually a very bizarre one. It's pretty odd, but nonetheless, today is National Chocolate Covered Raisin Day. I think that's just so interesting. National Chocolate Covered Raisin. That's so specific. But if you like chocolate, it's awesome. If you don't like raisins, probably not your holiday. So just be mindful. We're going to start putting those in the beginning of videos. Little fun fact. So today is actually our Chocolate Covered Raisin Day. But we'll put that aside because today we do need to finish working on our testing strategies. So last time we were together, we talked about numbers 25, 26, and 27. So we were able to use our elimination, and even on this one right up here, we were able to kind of go back and look at our snots. So again, remember, before we read it, we took some time to look at the questions first. Well, that's going to lead us into what we're doing today. So, starting with number 28, I want to read it, and then I want to show you a word that is very important to answering this one. It says, how do paragraphs 10 through 15 support a main idea of the passage? Okay, so the word that I really want you guys to focus on, and I'm actually going to pull this down so I can annotate it for you guys, is actually, I'm going to show this real quick. Again, working with technology. The word that I want you guys to focus on is through. Now, a lot of you guys might say, okay, I know what through means, but a lot of us, just because we like to rush to get done, we don't actually follow this direction and we just kind of skim through it real fast. But the whole point of going back is to read paragraphs 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. That's 6 paragraphs that we need to go back and reread in order to figure out what the main idea is. Now again, Mrs. Taranto's been working on this in her videos about what the main idea is. So if you're needing a little extra help with what that means, you can head on over to her page in Google Classroom and she's got the main ideas set out for you. But for now, we're going to go back up here really quick. And we are going to read 10 through 15. And I like to, when I am doing this with a paper, I will just go and I will make almost like a little line around, almost a box around it, so I can go back if I need to. So let's see what it says real quick. Other car inventors had different ideas for power. Would electric batteries work? The first electric car was invented in 1830s in Scotland. By the 1900s, electric cars were the most popular kind of car in the United States. They were quiet. They didn't smell as much. Yet they had drawbacks, too. Most could only go about 30 to 60 kilometers, 20 to 40 miles. Then the battery died. Places to plug in and recharge a battery were scarce. Electric cars didn't have enough power to push through muddy roads, and most were slow. The New York City police used bicycles to catch speeding motorists. So that's the first section. Because do you see how we have 2 different headings? So our headings actually, little clue, headings sometimes tell us what the main idea of what we're reading is. So this is all about battery power. The whole thing about this is battery power, how cars are run on battery. Now down here, it looks like it's split into hitting the gas. So let's see. In the 1880s, 2 German inventors had an idea. It changed cars forever. Working separately, they each built a car powered by gasoline. Gas-powered cars could go faster. Plus, cars had fuel tanks to store extra gasoline. Cars could now travel longer distances. The first gas-powered cars cost up to $2,000. That was a lot of money in 1900. It took a typical person in the U.S. 4 years to earn that much. Only the richest people could afford these cars. So we're going to go back and we're going to look at these. Before I say yes, no to any of them, I have to read all of them first. By discussing how several inventors, sorry, I need to go slow myself down actually. So how do paragraphs 10 through 15 support the main idea of the passage? Well, it can do it by discussing how several inventors improved cars, by listing the names of the countries to show how far apart they are, by describing the condition of the streets to show the need for better roads, or by showing the drivers had to be stopped because their cars were going too fast. Now, here's what I remember. I don't remember seeing by listing countries by showing how far apart they are. Did not hear that at all. So I know I'm very confident that B, it's not our answer because he didn't talk about countries one bit other than Germany. But that's not really telling us how far apart they were. By describing the condition of streets that showed they needed for better roads, well, this whole article is not about roads. This is about the cars. So this is another one I'm pretty sure we can just pop right out of there. Now, I'm down to 2 answers, and this happens as elimination. You want to kind of get yourself down to about 2. So I put a little star next to this little guy, and then a little star next to this little guy, because I'm not sure which one of these it is. But we know it has to obviously be one of them. So let's see what it says. By discussing how several inventors improved cars, well, it did. It told about the 2 German engineers, and it told about how they changed it to gasoline. And then see, by showing the drivers had to be stopped because their cars were going too fast. So one of these is a distractor. One of these the author put in there to kind of make you think a little bit like, oh, that could be it. So the one that I'm going to consider distractor is this one right here. Because this is not the main idea of what we read. It did not say about, the whole time it did not keep talking about how fast cars were going. It only said that in one sentence. So that right there is telling me that can't be the main idea. Because it only was said once. And it wasn't mentioned too much other than that. So for this one, we can get rid of D. And that leaves us with A. And now, before I know it's right, let's see if it reads the right way. By discussing how several inventors improved cars. Well, it did. So we know that A is our correct choice. So down here, the first gas-powered cars were an improvement on electrical cars because gas-powered cars did not cost much. They did not smell bad. They were able to travel farther, or they made less noise when they were driven. So I'm going to go back really quickly, guys, because I know exactly where it is. It's a gas-powered right here, hitting the gas. So now it says could travel longer. And it said also that, like, the fuel tanks, they could store extra gas. So, like, there's a lot of positive things. But they could travel longer. Now, it didn't say it didn't smell as bad. See, this one is more about the electric battery, so that it wasn't smelling as much. But we're talking about the gas-driven cars. So for this one, we know that it's not necessarily true. It did kind of change how much it costs, yes, but we know that might not be it. Well, the smell of bad, that was all about the battery powered. Made less noise when it drove. Well, we don't know that. So this one actually kind of became a pretty simple one. And now we went back and we looked and we said they were able to travel farther. So that one kind of answered itself pretty quickly. And that one is C. They were able to travel farther. Now, this is a tough one because this is saying again how 14 through 17 are connected. What do they have to do with each other? So let's go on. We already read kind of 14 through 14 over here, 15. So inside each factory, each worker installed a different car part. The worker stood along an assembly line. The cars moved to the factory on a conveyor belt. It got part from each worker. Within an hour, workers could put together 70 parts of the Model T. Now, many middle-class families could afford to buy a car, and by 1927, more than 15 million models had rolled off the assembly line and chugged their way onto American roads. Okay. So, they show a problem that existed and explains how Henry Ford solved it. They describe the order of steps made. Well, I know already that's not right, even though I probably should read them all first. This one to me I know isn't. They compare the number of parts of Model T to the number of parts of another car. Or they explain the effects of a typical earning person who worked for Henry Ford. Again, this is one that I know for sure. They didn't talk about comparing. And they did not talk about how much people earned. They did say how much people would have to pay for it, but they never said how much people who worked for him had to pay. That leaves us very plain and simply with choice A. Now let's see if that makes sense. It says they show a problem that existed and explain how Henry Ford solved it. Yes, they did. They showed how he was able to bring the costs of making a car way down. So, last one, 31. The headings divide the passage by uses for an automobile, changes in an automobile, inventors, or popularity. So remember, these are headings up here. These right here. The hitting the gas, battery powered, full steam, need for speed. Okay, those are our choices. So is it the inventors? No. They didn't say any inventor's name in those headings. The popularity? No, because they didn't say the most popular car or this was the best car to get. No, they just simply said the need for speed, fuel, full steam ahead, those kind of things. So now, was it talking about the uses in automobiles? No, it didn't say move around, like able to move around. No. So that leaves us with B. So again, this is how you guys can change it up a little bit and figure out if your answers are right. But so far, using elimination has helped a lot. So again, we'll see you tomorrow in order to talk about a little more testing strategies. Have a great night, guys.